right, you are still there listening to Rock City 101.9 FM Daybreak Show this morning. On the Citizens Forum, I mentioned this earlier on, we'll be looking into illicit arms, what they call small arms and light weapons. It's a effect. In actual fact, I was talking to some people over the weekend when I heard pump action gun. AK-47 seems to be the most common AK-45 described by the media and newspapers, and I really don't know the difference between many of these ones. Surface to hear a rifle, even a rifle, some will say .03 mm and all sorts. These are killer weapons. Forget the name, they call it small or light. These are killer weapon, depends on how bad it is used. In some environment, particularly developed countries, Chienye, where the government is trying to take arms out of the society, where some people are saying no, it is our right. Maybe we should begin to have such right in the country, ability to carry this, since it's a small arm and light weapon. Yes, maybe we should be permitted.
But don't you think things will go the wrong way if everyone is permitted to carry around this weapon?
The wrong way or the way, it depends on where you are standing.
If it's for protection, now fine.
It will go a wrong way if somebody is coming to my home and knows that I also have something to do.
But some can also use it to do the wrong thing.
All right, that's part of why we are here this morning, to look at what can be done. How dangerous is this so-called small arms in our society? Just some few days ago, we saw how easy it could be to bring these arms into our country when the custom officers intercepted over 600 of this category of arms, and this was led by the custom men who were supposed to have stopped this at the entry point, but they are the ones who actually ensure that these things get in interland and begin to go towards where they want it. Where is it going? What are they going to be used for? These are questions nobody may ever be able to answer. And how they come in, it's simple to just say it's either through the land or through the sea and smuggled in. For sure, that is the major way in which it comes in. But why can't they stop them at the entry point? Again, this is a question not many people will also be able to answer. Dele Ayodo remains my name.
And I am Chienye Egwuonwu. Yes, the proliferation of small arms and light weapons is one of the major security challenges currently facing Nigeria, Africa, and indeed the world in general. And of course, the trafficking and wide availability of these weapons fuel communal conflict. It also fuels political instability and poses threat not only to national security, but also to sustainable development. And the widespread proliferation of small arms is also contributing to the alarming levels of armed crime and militancy. What is the role of the government and policymakers in checking SALW in Nigeria, and to also ascertain the level of insecurity this menace had incurred in the Nigerian state? And then the availability of these small arms have direct influence on the escalation and sustenance of insecurity. All this will find answers to on the Citizens Forum on the Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM.
Alright, not the usual thing again. I'm going to be sandwiched this morning by two beautiful women, intelligent women. Yes, aptly so. To discuss this topic with us is a member of the West African Committee on Small Arms and Light Weapon. She's also a member of the Presidential Committee on SALW, that's Small Arms and Light Weapon. Join me to welcome to the studio to do justice to the topic this morning, Dr. Temitope Olaifa. Good morning, madam.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I know I asked you this question up here. What kind of arms can be categorized as small or light?
Small arms are basically those instruments, weapons that can be used by one person
So
to
this should
hurt
include
another person.
that should include a knife, a jackknife,
Exactly.
or even a kitchen
Exactly.
knife.
Thank God your mind went there, because I thought I would still need to talk about that, because there are these things we have around us, even at home. Knife, like you have said.
Pen knives.
Pen knives.
They carry around in the bag.
Any kind of knife is a weapon. Office pins, nails, anything that is harmful and can cause injury to another person is a form of harm. But we work with these things at home, we see them, we use them, for our daily needs and all that. We sort of forget that they are dangerous tools. Now you go to arms that we know, those ones that we recognize. All this AK-47, pump action rifles, pistols, and all forms of arms. I mean guns. These are the ones we know and that we fear. But those other ones, we sort of neglect them because we use them for our constructive purposes. So that is why. So what I'm saying here is that small arms are basically dangerous tools that can be manipulated by one person, either to kill or harm someone, particularly in times of conflict. Your matchbox can be dangerous. It can be as dangerous as it is useful to you, depending on how you put it into use. Meanwhile, light weapons are those tools that cannot be manipulated by a single person, but are used at the war fronts, at conflict theaters, where we have 2 or more people handling them. That is light weapon. So we are talking in category of the APC, we're talking of missiles, mortars, anti-bullet, all these anti-aircraft, and all these ones are light weapons. Okay, so they can be manipulated by more than one.
All right. Okay. So we'll be diving more into light weapon because of its obvious consequence, and then the ease in which it's coming or getting into our society. Obviously and rightly, the government is disturbed, just as the people, we Nigerians, are also disturbed about the proliferation, like she said, how these things are found and commonly used within our society. I also said this, they either come in by sea or by the land, and mostly they are smuggled in, they are brought in illegally. Why do you think the customs miss these things when they come in?
Yeah, there are so many things reasons that can be adduced for that. In the first place, our borders are not well manned. No, don't let me say they are not well manned. They are not sufficiently manned. Nigeria has a very large landscape and very few borders. So in essence, what I'm saying is that the borders are porous. Between Seme and Idiruku, these are 2 borders of proximate distance. Between them, there are areas that are not manned. where people just move in and out at will. And that goes to say that we do not have enough hands. How many customs men will be posted to the borders? Because we don't have enough manpower in that area. It is difficult for Nigeria to create borders around all, along all its boundaries. It is not possible from Benin to Cameroon on the other side, Chad and the rest of them. So it is very important. The porosity of our borders is one factor that is contributing to this. So arms just flow in and out. But as we are saying, the ones that come in through these porous borders, there is no way you can account for their number. But the ones we are able to see, like the one that was seized last week.
666.
661. AK-47 rifles and innumerable number of pump action.
Right. Sorry, what was a pump action rifle?
Pump action rifle is another, a very highly sophisticated. When it is handled, it can spread bullets,
like the submachine.
Consistently, something like that, So just like its name, pumping bullets like that. So it is very easy for people to manipulate and cover a very large area.
Then you begin to wonder, what do we need that for in Nigeria? Who is going to use that?
Okay, that is it. Because of the level of insecurity in Nigeria. Everybody thinks he wants to secure himself. That is on the personal level.
No, let's expand that. I'm interested, really. If you say personal note, it is true that the level of insecurity now has gone into a state where you'll be tempted to want to defend yourself. And people have advocated for government to permit some seemingly sane and responsible people to own guns freely, and which my personal view, will support. If that will you advocate for this kind of as a way of even reducing the illicit trade in this kind of farms?
Well, I do.
At least when you have shops where you can go and buy it, and then you are qualified to own it. A lot of Nigerians will be qualified to own guns.
I think first of all, it is alien to our culture. Even in Yoruba land.
We have adopted so many alien cultures.
Let me tell you this thing. Don't say, the Yoruba will say, Iwa ọmọ ló mú ọmọ ṣe òkígbẹ́. Why would anybody want to create himself?
No, that was the days when war will come, when you will be taken to the war. Now war will come and meet you.
There has not been a time that war will not come. But then
when I say war, sorry, I'm not
I think I understand you. But what I am saying is that if we have peace in the land, there will be no need for guns around. If we had good governance, there will be no need for guns. Who would want to bother himself? In the first place, the use of gun, in fact, the acquisition of guns and all these light weapons would be of no real use.
Dr. Olaifa, the United States, don't they have good governance or good government?
It depends on what you mean. The
because
governance
to own gun.
And yet, there are so many people clamoring not to own gun. I know that Obama had to fight that fight seriously because many people were saying no guns. They belong to a school of thought that cannot be ignored. They know what the US has been reduced to because everybody has access to guns. You don't really need guns if you work on peace building. If you build peace, gun running, gun acquisition will be unattractive. Everybody will be going on its own. Legally, it is the government that has the prerogative to own guns, to all these weapons and all that. For territorial defense, that is all. But if it comes to a stage where individuals now begin to say, oh, I want to own a gun, I want to do this. I know it is the level of insecurity in the country that is causing that, but it is not the solution to the problem. I have always said it, I've said it even at international fora. But let us go and build our peace. Let us go and look at our structures. What can we add into these structures that will make us have individual peace and then national peace? So it is when we are at peace, when our peace has been built right into our structures, and we are able to say, yes, I want to go to Ota today. I will be coming back. The meeting will take me to as far as maybe 1 a.m. in the night, and I want to return. And you return safely, without the fear of anybody kidnapping, any armed robber waylaying you, anything. You understand what I mean?
I don't know. I know, but you are looking at an ideal situation which we know may be far from reality. To have an ideal situation because of the level of sophistication of human beings themselves, and then inventions, technological inventions. So to have an ideal situation may, to say the least, be gone forever.
No, I don't think so. If you mix with these people, Sweden is on this earth, Switzerland is on this earth. We meet at summits.
Yeah, but they are taking the world to them now.
Please, let me just land with this thing I'm saying. We meet at fora. They still come. In fact, the best peace building mechanism is found in Switzerland. They are still, researching on it and building it, and they have their peace. Can you compare Sweden or Switzerland to US? No,
it will take a while before Nigeria will get there.
That is it. But we can start from somewhere. We cannot say we cannot get there. So it is possible. We are human beings. You understand? And every human being seeks peace. He seeks peace. It is when he feels his peace is ruffled, that is when he begins to look for ways of, all this self-defense and all that. And they said attack is the best means of defense. That is what we have imbibed. When he feels insecure, then he begins to look for ways of, and he feels, okay, let me attack first before they attack.
Where do you think we have gotten it wrong?
We have gotten it wrong because we, at the level where we have said money is the greatest thing to achieve, when I say ultimate. When you begin to think money will give you power, when you think position will give you power, when you think all these ideals must be acquired at all cost, then you look for diabolical means of getting them. So that is it. That's why I said peace building. When I'm talking about peace building, I'm saying that the structure is so mine in a way. Okay, look at what we are facing now at the National Assembly. Look at, I don't know, I cannot verify the amount, the actual amount. But what the press reels out as salaries of these people, you'll be amazed that on this earth, some people are earning so much per month. What are they using this money for? So they have access to acquire guns, to protect themselves. 2019 is there. You said they waylaid some things at the airport and all that. That's what we got, I mean, at the port. Okay. That's what we were able to, the ones they seized. What about the ones they did not even know entered the country?
What then is the role of the federal government and then the policymakers?
Yes, the role of the government primarily is to own the idea of building peace into our system. When the government owns it, it funds it, and then it transmits to the people.
How are they supposed to do that?
It is possible. Get the structures right. I was telling you that the firearms law is obsolete now. It has to be. So let's get it right this time. And then build our ministries and all that. Let them bring the NGOs. The NGOs reach the people. Let them go there and sensitize the people on the evil of firearms, of owning firearms and using them. These illicit firearms, when they get to the wrong hands, it is the people around them that are in danger.
Dr. Olaifa, yes. Let me also take your part. When you use that word, wrong hand.
Yes.
Well, for those who don't know, let me say that Dr. Olaifa is also an expert in peace and conflict resolution. So when you hear her talk about peace and peace and peace all the time,
he's an advocate.
Peace. Now, when you say wrong hand, there is this media report that almost all Nigerian politicians own a gun.
Yes.
The one that does not have a gun have purchased for somebody or paid for somebody else to purchase. How do you now identify or define gun going to the wrong hand when you have lawmakers, politicians in the executive arm owns it or purchase it for somebody? So how do we identify or how do you define wrong hand?
Yes, you just defined it. You just defined wrong hands. What do politicians, what do they need guns for? Yes, they have their aides. It is only their aides that should carry guns, not themselves. And those ones are the legitimate ones. The ones the politician has on his own, the one he buys for his dogs, the ones he buys for all his aides and all that to protect him, all of them are illicit. As illicit as the one we find in the hands of the armed robbers. Because it is only the state.
So when you have a lawmaker,
it is only the state that is supposed to have the guns. So, but then wait, the law was relaxed at a certain time. They said a set of people could come and they could be licensed to buy guns. If such a thing happens, then it means such people are licensed and they are minimal.
So guns in the hands of such people are not in wrong hands.
They are not in wrong hands.
So if
it means that the problem is in Nigeria, marking and tracing guns. You know, we are short in that area. So when the gun gets into somebody's hands and is transferred to another person and is transferred to who is monitoring?
Who should monitor?
Who should monitor? The law enforcement agencies. The law enforcement agencies should be able to tell you on fingertip the number of people in Ogun State who have arms, the number that they licensed, and the number of the guns that were licensed.
Can we say they're doing their job then?
I do not know.
Do you suspect any foul play?
Oh, yes, of course. Because these guns, the licensed ones, do get into the hands, you know, of hoodlums. At the end of the day, you see, even the ones the policemen carry, sometimes you see that they said one policeman slept off and somebody crawled there and picked the arms. And they go, who is in danger? It's not these big people, it is the masses.
Okay, that's why somebody like me will again advocate that such people regarded as masses, referred to as masses, should also be licensed, permitted to carry on so that you balance it. You now equate our strength.
I think what we should say is that let our laws prohibit the ownership of small arms, and let there be a very strong sanction against owning and using illicit arms. Let the arms that are already proliferated, let them be mopped up, and then a new regime of issuing arms, let it be instituted.
Can you give us suggestions on how to mop up these small arms?
You are delving into security things.
Well, what is the role of the Presidential Committee on small arms and light weapons?
Yes, that is part of it. First of all, to know how much arms do we have, illicit arms, in our communities. We have started work on that. I think last year in collaboration with WANSA and NIPS, Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, we carried out a survey last year, and we are still looking at the result of the survey and all that to be able to know exactly where the strength is, where the weaknesses are, and then how to really go about addressing them. So that is one.
Does the committee have power to confiscate?
Yes, the committee has power to confiscate. Let me say this. I am just an indirect member of the PRESCOM. WANSA is my own organization, which is a member of PRESCOM. So I am not saying I cannot talk about this.
No, I just want
there are of course some security things that I cannot tell you.
So security issues are not discussed by
you won't tell me to tell you how we are going to.
But even when they are written down and discussed behind closed door, we don't see the effects.
No, well, it depends. It depends. Like our system, the way it is run, sort things. Those are the ways they go. But then we still believe that a lot of things still need to be done about that. And I was saying the other time that it is very important that we make acquisition and running of small arms very unattractive. If the youth is gainfully employed, if the youth is confident, if the confidence of the youth is restored, and he believes in himself and believes in the country, I believe that small arms will be unattractive. A normal Nigerian youth wants to go to work in the morning, wear his shirt and trouser and all that, look swell, go to work and come back and say, oh, I'm back and all that.
You still advise white-collar jobs for the youths?
Not really. It's not white-collar jobs. Okay. Even if you are working on your own, you can wear your shirt and trousers to work. You can be an executive, a chief executive of your own enterprise. So it's not a case of white-collar job now. Any job. I'm saying if there is dignity, if the dignity of the youth is restored, if he believes himself,
honestly, when you talk about the dignity of the youth, there's nothing wrong in a commercial driver, the one we call taxi driver, dressing up behind and suit and doing the job. Actually, there's nothing wrong in that.
No.
Yes, I think that's packaging the thing yourself. Many people will prepare to deal with you when they see you clean and smart. So
Okay, as to restoring the dignity of the youths and what should be done, we'll talk about that right after the National News at 10 because we have to go for this break for the National News at 10. But in the meantime, begin to send your contributions, your questions to the shortcode dial 32120. Type rock, you leave a space, type your message, include your name, and send it to 32120 and the Twitter handle at Rock City FM.
Alright, so we'll be back. Alright, yes, Daybreak Show, Rock City 101.9 FM. Citizens from this morning looking at the security proliferation of small and light weapons as it affects our society. It's obvious that everything must be done, should be done now to ensure that Nigeria, people are saying we are on the floor again, and to ensure that we do not go beneath the soil as it were. And we have with us a member of the West African Committee Against Small Arms and Light Weapons, Dr. Temitope Olaifa. Dr. Olaifa, let's try and go specific. Let's use this latest seizure, 661 different categories of arms by the customs as the example for our discussion. And what are we discussing? How these things get into the country, how they are monitored, like you said, and then how they are controlled. We've been told that the customs, some customs officers connived. Yeah. Government says it's banned through land border, and we expect that the sea border will be a very tight one. And then this thing finds its way. When you have issues like this, where the security officer plays a major role in that act, how exactly should this kind of situation be dealt with? Does it lend credence to all this kind of banning social place, opening up social place?
Yeah, you will discover that this incident has opened up the level of hypocrisy in governance that we have. If you are made a customs person, everybody has confidence in you that where you are, wherever you are, nothing can be smuggled into the country. But we've been let down. With this incident now, we do not know, because they are even saying the seaports become so porous. How many of them do we have? And we are thinking that, okay, if these arms could get through the seaports, then they could be apprehended. Yes, one container was apprehended. How many other containers entered the country? So you will see that these evil perpetrators have actually infiltrated all these areas where we think we have our confidence in. The land borders are porous. The seaport now, see what we have.
Because so you expected that there will be some measure of
containment, a level of sanity, a level of control will be exercised at seaports. But we have been let down. This is just an evidence of it all. I'm sure it did not start happening last week. It's been happening. You will imagine, how do the militants get their arms? Boko Haram. How did Boko Haram get arms? Boko Haram worked with light weapons, heavy machinery. Are those ones needles or pins? How did they cross our borders and nobody knew? These are the questions that you'll be asking. And you see, these are the reasons why we said a lot needs to be done in building peace. So that the man we put there will know that he has a responsibility to safeguard the integrity of Nigeria and himself, and in fact, to safeguard the citizens of Nigeria. He has to be committed. He has to see that this man walking on the street should not, even a madman, his life should not be threatened where he is. He knows that if he fails that man, then he has failed as a human being and as a law enforcement agent. But you see, this is the kind of thing I was saying, restoring confidence in people. Restoring confidence in even the law enforcement agents. There was a time I was so moved. I wrote a poem on the policeman on the road. I saw him as shea butter put on a hot tar. It's melting. Until this day, I think I wrote that poem in 2009. Till today, I still see that policeman on the hot tar melting because nothing is being done about his welfare. And the policeman will continue.
But when you talk about welfare, where is the professionalism and dedication?
Professionalism and dedication. Yes. Oh my God. It is there. But you will agree with me. A hungry policeman. In fact, that is it. If he's hungry, he will do anything. There was a time, and whenever I went to that Ibadan, and I got that to Bakatari Junction, this policeman, they are still always there.
They are there all the time.
I will buy pure water. I will buy fruits. I will buy groundnuts and all that, and just drop it for them. At a time I began to say, I hope these people will not even begin to think maybe this woman wants to cover something, that's why she gives us something. But I knew the sincerity of purpose with which I did it would not let them even start thinking evil about me. Because each time I saw them, they were always standing with this AK-47. It's a very heavy thing.
You are spoiling them.
No, I am not spoiling them. I am saying that these are the areas where peace must be built. So that the policeman will have confidence in himself. He will have confidence in the government he serves. And he will have a sense of responsibility to the people he's supposed to serve.
Okay, before we went on that break for the national news, we were talking about regaining the confidence or building the confidence of our youths and then regaining their dignity too. Because we know quite well that the youths are the leaders of tomorrow and they're important in the society and they're also vulnerable. So how can we go about this?
First and foremost, we should touch up our curriculum. Our curriculum should now veer into entrepreneurship right from the primary school. I still remember when we were growing in the primary school, we were taught arithmetic. How we would go, it was a practical lesson. We would go inside the class. Tins of bombitas, tins of tomatoes, tins of will be arranged, and we will go there. They will give us money. Go and buy. We will buy and collect change and bring it back in our arithmetic. Made so practical, made so real, so that when you got back home and your mommy sent you with 6 pence to go and buy something, you already knew how much change you will bring back. That was there. If that kind of thing is infused, entrepreneurial studies is infused into our curriculum right from the beginning, the child would have been sensitized into self-employment right from the beginning. They will not come out and be saying, I'm looking for a job. Government is not opening spaces for us and the rest of them. And you see, we are doing a lot in this country that is inimical to the growth of our youths. All this unemployment thing didn't start today. I remember when I got into service in Ogun State in 1982, September. We ran it for a year. In 1983, they brought in another set of teachers. That was 1983, September. By December, when we were going on holidays, they had told those people that they were retrenched because government could no longer, pay their salaries. And the government said, those of us who were still in service will return in 1984 January with half salaries. They will be paying our salary, half salaries from 1984 January. But there was this military coup and all that, and all those things were, and those who were sent away were recalled. But the lesson there is that, one, there was recession. Government could no longer cope with the number of people in its employ. Do you now say people of my age will still turn out children that will be looking for job? Do you understand? People who were part of that system, even those who were affected by that policy at that time, still churn out children who will look for jobs. Aren't we deceiving ourselves?
I should have learned that lesson.
We should have learned that lesson and have started on our own, building these children up on self-reliance. So you see that the thing is not really a government thing per se. It is the perception of the people. People who think it is government. And I always tell Thomas Jefferson in 1746 said, government has no business in business. In 2016-17, government is still having business. We still expect government to have business because government itself thinks it is its business. It has to run business. That's why we are getting everything wrong.
Yes, at this point we must permit our listeners to be a part of it. Let's get what you think, your questions, your comments on the issue so far discussed, addressed by our guest, Dr. Temitope Olaifa, Citizens Forum, looking at proliferation of arms, small arms and light weapon in our country and the threat to peace and insecurity in our society.
The studio lines 0809-868-7344 and 0909-146-9670. The short code dial 32120, type rock, you leave a space, type your contributions, include your name and send it to 32120. And also the Twitter handle at RockCityFM, at RockCityFM.
All right, straight on. Let's get your thoughts. Move away from your radio where you are putting that call through. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
My name is Big.
Thank you.
Hello, again. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Please, my question just go like this. If you look at Trump, when he just entered, some of all those borders, you wall it. People don't even penetrate to America any longer. What our own government is doing, like the border here, honestly, there's nothing like border there. The road that is inside Bush is more than million.
Yes.
You understand? And secondly, I want to...
How do you know?
I know that is my route.
Okay, you use the ones that are not manned. Emeka,
Hello.
that's the one you use, the one that are not manned.
Let's talk about that.
Answer the question now. Alright, go on.
And I want to know that there is some people, like our government people, like governor, president, spent only 4 years. Our cabal stays forever.
Yes.
So some people today, you can't touch them. And this political issue make the man to be used in Nigeria. Please let me put it this way. Like Hausa today, if you stay with a dagger, he's free. If it's a civil man, you know what will happen to. And now AK-45 or 47 or whatever has become their own material for their ship or whatever. Why is it happening like that in Nigeria? And soon it's only outside that will be using guns. But if you see what they used to use Nigerian sister, you won't even say it's an Hausa. You will be thinking that that is the Boko Haram. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Emeka. However, I don't want us to weaken this discussion by trying to trivialize it using tribe and those identities.
Yes.
Very interesting discussion.
Thank you very much.
But I think we should stress something that if the political group wants small arms to be abolished today in this country, it will be abolished.
Exactly.
It's because they don't want it. Forget about what you say. I'm sorry, but forget about those conferences. We want to abolish it only to get money and to maybe to socialize. We don't have it in their mind to stop it.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question now. Bola Ige, a solid general of this country, died. Have you heard anything about it, man? What happened to Bola Ige? Having a solid general, federal, died in this country. Have you heard anything? Some missiles were imported to this country, they say from Iran. Have you heard anything about it, man? About 2 or 3 years ago. You know, Jonathan's regime. Have you heard anything? Who imported it? Is it me or you? Do I have money to import the missile? Those arms are not cheap. Who are the people? They know. Custom knows. Who are the people importing it? Police knows. I expected the head of custom to have resigned because of what happened with the containers of small arms. I expected him to have resigned wherever he is. But what has happened? They are searching, they can't find the person, they can't find them, and life continues. And
they have not found them, they've turned out themselves.
They have not found them, they will never find them. I think those documentations are not as easy as that. So, madam, I think they are just waiting at them. They know what to do. We can say whatever, the moment they want it, they will stop it. They are not interested in stopping it because it is their own interest. It is in this country someone imported a helicopter. Military helicopters. Can you imagine that? 2 military type helicopters. And it is in this same country we are celebrating an ex-convict. Governors are going, traditional rulers are going to Dobale for him in Abdara in Delta State. And you want to talk of small arms, man. Sorry, man. I think we are wasting our time. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Just take note. We'll take the calls and then permit you to respond. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Dele.
Morning, sir.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you? Madam, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm alright.
Okay.
I am Taiwan. Nobody from Tap Corner area in Jega Town.
Okay.
I drop my cap for you, man.
Thank you very much, sir.
I respect your intelligence.
Thank you very much, sir.
Because share your life
Amen.
for us.
Amen.
I want to beg you. What do we do? You have spoken a lot. First of all, you talked about our legislators.
Yeah.
Who are earning so much. They have money to plug around. They have money to buy weapons. They are rotating themselves there. They don't want to. They don't want to leave power. How will they not import weapons into this country? There is a governor there. There is a legislator there who was governor for 2 terms and has been in National Assembly for almost 3 terms. So many of them are there. You see a governor leaving office and later becoming senator or rep. You see a senator leaving office, coming to the governor. They rotate themselves. How will they not want to perpetuate themselves in power? What do we do? Madam?
Yes, sir.
What do we do? To save ourselves.
All right, is that the question, sir?
Continue to live in poverty. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. She's taking note. Let's add this call to it. Then we move away. Check the messages.
Good morning.
Yes, morning.
Good morning, Chienye.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
sir.
Mrs. Olaifa. My name is Proliferation Johnson. Yes, you see, we want to talk of porosity of the borders. Every part of the country, including the airport, are very, very porous. I'm telling you the truth. You see, who is to check the pirates that brings in good arms on the high sea? Who is to check them? The Nigerian Navy or the Nigerian Customs or the Immigration or the Department of DSS? Nobody is doing that. Everybody is scrambling for what he can get into his pocket. Go to our airport and people that are not allowed to be on the tarmac, you will see them on the tarmac, right on the tarmac. Some goods will come in, some containers will come in, they will bring papers from the high places and say they should not fetch it. They will just take it out. Who controls that? The mindset of the individual is needed to be revolutionized. The mindset of organizations, departments, we have to revolutionize everything to bring everybody to book, make everybody accountable. Those that are supposed to do this work, that's what you said, are supposed to be motivated very, very well. Like the Nigerian police, everybody, the custom men, there's no way you motivate them, they will still do what they are doing. I traveled from Katsina to Niger Republic. I went through the borders, nobody asked me anything. Nobody stopped me. And I just crossed. I went away, I climbed Okada, I went to Niger and came back the same way. Nobody asked me anything. If you are going to Kutonu here, it is the same thing. Whereas if you dare venture enter the side of the Kutonu, the way you be treated, you look as if you are not a human being. Let our people change their attitude and let the government also pay dues as when it is due. This is the only thing that will solve this problem in this country. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Okay, Mrs. Olaifa, you may react to what they have mentioned.
Okay, in fact, they have actually contributed to what we have said. And one thing that runs through all the contributions is that government must exercise its political will to make Nigeria great. Because if there is willingness on the part of the political class to make Nigeria, then we will have Nigeria. As long as politicians still molest, I'll call it molest our youth, because they are the ones who bring them together, place them on salaries and put guns in their hands because of elections, because somebody wants to retain himself in power, because somebody wants to come in by force, because somebody wants his family member to become the president or the senator, because you see them. 2019 is approaching. You will see what will happen again. If the government wants us to have a great Nigeria, I join all these contributors to say we will have a great Nigeria. Like I said earlier on, I said the job of peace building should be owned by the government at the national level. And then, if it's owned there, then the drive will be there. They will drive it and it will trickle down to the masses. I mean, the real people at the grassroots. And you will see that these people would embrace this. We've done it in the past. I remember Diffrey. All this
rate of food,
rural roads and all that
infrastructure.
Everybody was sensitized. So it wasn't as if bulldozers came in and all. No. I don't even remember. We had somebody in the.
Woman, yeah, there was a woman who was at the head. I'm sure she's not late.
In Ogun State, I think it was this Navy man, Rashid Raji. I've forgotten the name. Yes, and you see the community leaders, CDA officials and everybody was carried along, and we bought into this thing. And that agency, MAMSA or whatever, was doing that, getting to the grassroots and all that. They can do it. It was because that government wanted to do it that when the other government they came, it was no longer attractive, so they abolished it. All these things we need to do. We need these organs to get to the grassroots, to mobilize the grassroots, to change, to reorientate the focus of our people. Because as we are saying, I was telling somebody, I said, if you think corruption is only at the top, you are lying. Look at a man who will say, my son, you have come out of primary 6, so you will now go to the town. You will not end up like a farmer like me. You will go to the town. You saw when Moshudi, the son of Akbete, came the other time. He was shining, he was in lace, he had chain around him. You go to the city and do whatever you can so that you too can come back
and be like
and make me proud. You understand? That child will go to town and look for every means he can muster to come back and bring glory to the Father, who will not ask him, how did you make it? So you see that everything, like the politician, if you bring them here now, what they will tell you is that it is the people that are driving them. They will say they are not able to get to their constituency. They don't have so amount of millions in their pockets. Because somebody will come and say, sponsor my child. Somebody will come and say, I have not eaten. Somebody will come and say, this and that and all that. So every Nigerian needs to be reorientated. And of course, we need the political will of the government to back us up.
Let's take the messages.
We have
You want one or two?
Actually, most of the questions have been treated in the narrative before, and I just want to touch on something, particularly the ones that concern youths. I want to say youths today have been disoriented. Many of them lack confidence in themselves. If you come out of the university and you roam the streets for 5-7 years and all that, and there's nothing coming in, when you should get married, you are not able to approach a girl, you know, and everything is like slipping off your fingers. Of course, your confidence will be eroded. But then, what can the youth do about himself? It is a matter of looking inwards. Everybody has been given a talent. Look inwards and see what you can do. We have seen youths in this country who went into frying akara, frying buns, frying all of that, and now they are car owners. We have seen that. Don't say this job or this thing is too dirty, I cannot go into it. It depends on how you package yourself. I saw a young man in I think it was on the television, he was featured on the television, carrying this bones box on his head. A master's student. He will go and hawk bones in the morning. And then, you know, with his tie and everything, shirt in place, he will put that beside the classroom, enter the classroom, get his lectures and all that, and come out. He has enough money to sponsor himself through school. This is what we are saying. Look at a civilized country like the US. We heard sometimes last year that one of Obama's children went to work somewhere. To us here, if you do such a work, then it is demeaning.
In the restaurant, yes.
That is it.
I remember, yes.
It is the meaning. How could somebody like me who has studied in the university now go and be serving plates, washing plates in a restaurant? The orientation has to change. They have to be educated, and they themselves need to be educated. I don't mean being educated in the four walls of the classroom, but on the street, knowing what happens, bridging gaps. Look at what your people need, the people in your street. Look at what they need to go out to get. Supply it. They will gladly patronize you. There are so many other things like that. You may not, if you read architecture in school and you got a receptionist job somewhere, be doing it for a while. You know where you are going. Don't say, I cannot, did I read mass com? You know, that kind of a thing. Everything, look at yourself, look inwards, and see what you can tap from there, from what God has deposited in you, to make you, alive. It will give you confidence. You will know you are the one doing this for yourself. You are not. They don't even understand something, that what government workers earn is not even okay for them. The take home for government workers is not adequate. They too are looking for ways of supplementing these salaries. So if you have the opportunity to start on your own, please start, my dear boys and girls. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. And please become ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let's go back to the messages again. Check out what we have there.
Okay, we have this one from Jola. Okay, she's hailing the mama in the house. She says, slay them, mama. Mommy go, mommy go. Okay, then Mayor of God. And what do we do to restructure ourselves in this nation and as citizens? God bless Nigeria. God bless Rock City FM. Then pro-Israel Olayemi. What is the latest about the arms seized in Lagos last week? It's been swept under the carpet. What are we now
I
saying?
don't know what you want to know about it. It's not something that they can just within. The only additional is that the two officers,
Have
custom
turned
officers,
themselves in.
that's the only thing.
That's much we know about that.
It's a security issue, like
Yes.
Dr. Olaifa said. It's not what we discuss behind the microphone.
Okay, he says, what are we now saying if they can't reveal the culprits? Time will come when they will get to reveal the culprits, but not now. Okay, then moving on to the messages. Good day, good people. How can there be peace in the nation when there is no equal rights and justice? How can the peace of the security build up in the nation? From Mr. Felix. He's asking that question again.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Then brilliant submissions from Dr. Olaifa. My opinion about this, amongst other nefarious activities in our society, is a breakdown of the hitherto respected norms, values, ethics that an average African, come Nigerian man or woman, was associated with. We have forgotten our heritage, lost our values. Is there anything in the pipeline by your organization to see how we reorientate the society, especially the young ones, especially those in school? I think we need to get to the root of this proverbial tree and not just cutting the branches as we're doing with little or no results now. That was sent in by Dr. Chris Omotosho.
Oh.
Okay, you want to...
Yes, I want to respond to that and some other issues too that were earlier raised. I like what Dr. Motosho said, the issue of cutting the leaves and not addressing the roots. Of course, I think he has struck the nail on the head. All these things we are saying, some people suggesting that everybody should carry arms, some people do, they are all cutting leaves. The tree remains as long as the root is there. That's why I continue to say, let us go to the roots. let us address our structures.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the political will, I'm going back again, of the politicians to address the issues of this nation, of the unity of this nation, of the well-being of this nation, is very key to achieving all these goals. Now, we are saying senators are they are ripping us off and all that. Then there's a structure backing them up. They will open books for you and say, this law said I should get 20% of my this, 30% of my. That law needs to be addressed. But then, who will handle it?
The same lawmakers.
The same lawmakers.
Dr. Olaifa, I want to say in 1 minute because we are out of time.
Really?
In 1 minute, somebody talked about how can we achieve peace without justice.
Yeah.
Is this not in contradiction or conflict with the same use of the word reconciliation?
Okay.
When you want to reconcile and then you are asking for justice and then you want us to have peace.
Yes, justice must reign for us to have peace. There is this, there is something like a chain. For you to have forgiveness, I mean for you to have reconciliation, you must first acknowledge that what you have done is bad. After acknowledging it, you have a rethink. That is what they will say, the heart is changed and you want to appeal to the person you have offended. When that person now forgives you, then you reconcile. It is like that chain. It has to be there. We first of all have to know that we do not have justice. Justice is not reigning in the country. And we want justice to reign. Then government should make sure that everybody is subject to the law. There is no one that is above another person.
So that we will have loved that and we continue with it. We have to leave the studio. We've run out of time. It's been a very interesting one. However, keep the debate on the different platforms, the Facebook, the tweet, and of course the SMS. And Friday on the open day, we can't continue with this debate. We must appreciate Dr. Temitope Olaifa for joining us this morning. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
And of course, all of you out there who've been a part of it, I say God bless you all. God bless Nigeria. God bless Rock City. Dele Ayodo is my name.
And I am Chienye Egwuonwu. Let's continue to do the right thing always.